This episode was filmed on Gundungara country and Jara country. Harrison and Alex, a young couple, no building experience, have pulled off an incredible tiny house build DIY on the nature strip of their parents' property. It's so beautiful, the outcome. They've learnt along the way. They've shared everything that they've gone through on Instagram. They actually didn't even buy their trailer from us. They bought it from a past client who had ditched their tiny house project. And so they ended up buying a friend's tiny house trailer and using the unified construction method and getting the online course from us, which they found really helpful. But they had to dismantle the beginnings of a tiny house that they'd already, like the beginnings of the floor that the previous owner had set up, and they settled for a tiny house trailer that they actually thought was too small for them. You know, they had a 9 meter in mind, but they settled for the 8 meter because it was nearby and cheaper because it was secondhand. So they've done a great job at just learning on the job, and they talk about mindset, and they talk about budget, and they talk about managing life-work balance and, decision overload. And they have a really sensitive and, very mature approach to what's happening in their tiny house build. And it's a freaking amazing result, like totally designer tiny house. They also talk about what it's like to rent tiny house on somebody else's property. Renting land on somebody else's property. So there's just heaps to learn from Harrison and Alex. So stick around and enjoy. Candid Tiny House is a podcast and a video where I get to go back to our past clients, people who've bought a trailer from us and taken a course on how to build a tiny house on wheels in Australia. And they've gone ahead and built their tiny house. And then we get to have an honest, deep, reflective conversation about what it's really like to build a tiny house, so that you can learn from their reflections, their mistakes, their wisdom, all of their rich and varied experiences from building a tiny house on wheels in Australia. So grab your notebook and a cup of tea, because we're sharing real stories of what it's like to build a tiny house in Australia. Thanks so much, Harrison and Alex, for showing us your tiny house and telling us about your journey today.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. That's really sweet. Yeah.
Sure, you're welcome. Can you tell me a little bit about the beginnings of, like, when you had started dreaming about having a tiny house?
Yeah. For me, it was like, I don't know, like 7 years ago in like 2018. I was still in school, and my first video I ever came across of like small space living was a Living Big episode of like a small apartment in Japan. So that was when I first discovered like small spaces. And that kind of sent me down the rabbit hole through all of his videos. So that was like my first exposure.
Yeah. And then we started dating in 2021, and Harry spoke to me a lot about tiny houses. He was really into them. And then, I got on board pretty quickly and was like, yeah, I think this is something I can get behind. So, a few years later for me in about 2021. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's a pretty big lead up time, isn't it? There's lots of researching and dreaming going on in those few years.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of like YouTube videos and like people always giving us like the coffee table books with like the tiny houses in them. Yeah, lots of research. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah. And then what made you think like tiny houses on wheels as opposed to other forms of small housing?
Hmm.
Oh, that's a good question.
I think just like the ability to not be tied down. I think in hindsight, it was like, oh, we could just take it anywhere, super easy. Now, having built it and like set it up on a site, we're like, oh, it's a lot more effort to just get going than we thought. But yeah, not being tied down was a big part of it. So like, oh, we don't know if we want to be based in Sydney forever. And just having that option to move around and move around with work. And obviously, it's very hard to own a piece of land at our age. So having the ability to try and like save a bit of money and then make that big decision a bit later on was a big part of it as well.
Yeah, so sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just the flexibility of being able to rent for now, but still own the house. And then, when we decide where we want to settle, that's when we can kind of, find a piece of land to own. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw like a lot of like in Bryce's videos in particular, like a lot of the people on those episodes are like on family owned properties that have like heaps of space. And just like unlucky for us, we didn't have that opportunity. So that was a big part of it too. Like I feel like if we had some family land that we could build an extra like granny flat or small dwelling on, it would have made it probably a bit more of a straightforward answer. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be curious to hear about your land choices and how you went about it now. But like I want to just get through a little bit more sequentially. So, what were some of the early research steps that you took to see how to get your head around the project?
Mm,
Yeah. I think like the initial stuff was all just like a lot of dreaming and like, oh, we could do this, we could do that. And that was like, all the typical streams, like YouTube, heaps of YouTube stuff, living big, but also just other small builds, Pinterest, Instagram,
mm.
like all that sort of stuff was pretty early on. And then when we got more serious, what did we start?
We went to the Tiny House Expo in the Hawkesbury.
Yeah.
And then that's where we actually met Fred for the first time. And he said, he was like, I've seen lots of young couples like you two. And we were like, oh, this is our guy. Like, he knows so much stuff. And I think that's when we learned about like what you guys do, your like online course.
True.
So after that, like looking at a bunch of the different builders at the expo, I think we listened to a talk that Fred did.
Yeah, I often do like the talking section.
Yeah.
There was a few people speaking.
Yeah, and then I think that's when we found out about the online course. And that was kind of the start of the actual like serious, like, okay, like we're getting serious about this. How do we go about this?
Yeah.
And I think that lasted for probably about a year, just that
Yeah.
kind of research.
Yeah, I think like that course came at a really good time because it was like, okay, we're actually gonna do it, we think. So where's like our first step to like actually get some structured like planning. And like the course was just like everything that we needed at the time. It was just like we have no experience building, we know little bits and pieces, we kind of know what we want. And we need like a good structure to start from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. It's great to hear that that gave you all that. And starting from nothing, like in a sense, it's not like you've got a construction background or anything. You can actually navigate the build, which is terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a useful resource. We like whenever someone posts on Facebook like, I want to build a tiny house or whatever, we're like, you have to do Fred's course
Yeah.
before you go any further.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's better when it comes from you guys because I think that too. It's like there's so much good stuff here.
Yeah.
And like it frustrates me because like walking around at the expos, you often hear like different new up and coming builders like talking to clients. And we've just heard some things at expos who are like, oh, it's just like so not true. And it's like there's just like so much more research that goes into building a tiny house than like a granny flat. Like it's just a completely different world. And like I think the first thing people need to realize if they're even like gonna look into building a tiny house on wheels is that it's a different game. Like it's not building a house, it's completely different. So I think that was a big part of it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice when you get to start like feeling confident in yourself because you can hear the BS in the chatter. So that's like a really nice indicator, isn't it? It's like that you do actually know a bit more about things because you're not likely to have the wool pulled over your eyes from somebody who wants to sell you whatever they built.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, I think, nice to be an informed consumer, and that's what motivates me every day. I'm like, I won't be ripped off.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's what we picked up with Fred straight away. We were like, this guy is just saying it how it is and telling us like exactly what we needed here. And not because like he just wants to get a sale. It was just because it's like genuine advocation and like excitement for it and like the willingness to share experience and not try and gatekeep. But yeah, I think the comment that we heard was like the customer was asking, oh, like how much does it weigh? And he was like, oh, it's like 5 ton. But like it's meant to be 4.5, but like it doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't affect anything. And they're like, oh, okay. And we were just like,
We were like, what?
And it definitely wasn't like an air brake trailer or any like expensive trailer. It was just like a steel flatbed. Like,
So that was from another builder at the expo that you just walked past and heard that.
yeah, genuinely, that was exactly what he said.
I actually genuinely don't remember who it was. Not that I'd probably name and shame, but we were just so shocked. We were like, what?
Yeah, because by then you would have known that if it's 1 kilo over the weight rating of the trailer, it's unroadworthy. It cannot be towed on its own wheels.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, no, that's just a fail. That's somebody selling you their mistake. That's what.
Yeah, literally. Just haven't researched enough, haven't planned enough.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about your planning for weight. Like, how did you go with doing? Did you do any theoretical weight calculations or anything like that? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think weight was our biggest stress the whole time, which is probably most people's thing. Like if they're trying to do it properly, it's like weight is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Initially weight was like, it was a big consideration, but not like we had before we even started building. So we got our architectural drawings done by Lucy, which was recommended by Fred. So she was amazing. Like she obviously did all our plans for us, and helped us kind of just dream and think about like what our overall structure was going to be like. But she also did like a rough weight table for us, which was super kind. So that kind of kicked us off because she was also building a house. So it kind of helped. She was like, oh, I chose this material. So the reason I chose this was because it's lighter, etc. So she kind of kicked off the weight table. And then as the build progressed, it was a much more thorough weight table.
Yeah, we and when we were tracking, we really thought that we were like getting quite heavy. Like we were getting really worried about it. So much so that we ended up moving it before it was fully finished, which we'll get to that later. That we had our cabinets built by a cabinet maker, and his weight estimate after he had installed them was quite a bit more than we were expecting. And so it was really stressful for us. We were like, oh my goodness, like the house is going to be way overweight. So when we moved it, we actually had it weighed by a caravan weigher, and it actually came in way underweight. We were so shocked, and we were like, thank goodness. And that then gave us like a new like base that we were like, okay, for sure. It was about 4.1 tons. We're like, for sure it's 4.1. Now we can finish the house knowing that we have like 400 kilos to play with, which was really nice. Yeah.
Good methodology too, to like weigh it partway through, like you have to commit a whole bunch of materials to the framing and the windows and doors and just all the structural stuff.
Yeah.
And once you've sort of got a shell and then you're refining your interiors, that's a really nice point to weigh it, to go, okay, what's my palette now? Because not only are we managing a financial budget, but we're really managing a weight budget, and the weight budget really determines the success or failure of the tiny house being registrable as a caravan, being roadworthy, being insurable. So all these things really, it's a very tight line, isn't it? It's a firm boundary.
Yeah. I think our like 3 pillars were like time, money, and weight. Like that was like the constant battle, the whole build. It was like, okay, we could spend a bit more time, save some money. We could spend a bit more money, save some weight. Like it was just like a constant, like, just constantly. And that was hard.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to build?
We started building in January of 2024.
Yeah.
So we picked up our trailer end of 2023. And it was a secondhand trailer. So we'll explain a bit of that later. And then started building it in the start of 2024, and then we finished about a month and a half, 2 months ago. So about a year and a half.
Yeah, about 18 months.
Yeah.
Very respectable build time. It's great.
Yeah. At the start, we were like, this is going to take us a year. We'll be done by Christmas. And that did not happen.
Keep in mind, like I was working full time. She was studying full time, working part time. So we were like, no worries. And like we'll talk to like a lot about like naivety, like later on, but like the naivety of us was just unbelievable.
No, yeah, then you had no time, nor energy at the end of those. So what were you doing? Weekends?
Yeah, every weekend, like every single weekend we were working on the house. I worked a job that kind of was like full time, but like flexible-ish days. So like every spare minute I had, I was working on it because it was parked at my parents' place. So it was easier for me because we were both living at home at the same time. Um,
So you were both living at your parents'
Yeah.
respective houses.
Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't even both on site.
No.
No.
So she did a lot of travel time, like so much travel time, which is yeah, so admirable because it's just like that is tiring in itself. We're about like half an hour apart from each other. So weekends would roll around. I'd be starting at like 7 a.m. and then she'd be arriving a little bit later, spending the whole weekend on the house. Then she'd go home and start her week of like full-time uni and everything else.
Oh my
Crazy.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, it's so massive.
Yeah.
Safe to say we're really excited to just veg out on the weekends now. Everyone says, "What are you going to do now?" And I say, "Sit at home,
Yeah.
enjoy what we built."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna stare at the walls because we made them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it rains, doesn't leak. Love that, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Okay, so tell me about when did you how did you figure out what tiny house trailer you were gonna need? You know, that's a big decision to get your design right. You were working with Lucy May, the architect, so that probably helped from the
Yeah.
get-go. But tell me about the factors for choosing a trailer.
I think, genuinely, I think it was when we met Fred, we were just like, this guy knows his stuff.
Yeah,
And
because we had researched a bit too, and we
Yeah.
kind of had come into that expo knowing kind of some like stuff that you had to know like about trailers and weight. So when you hear what you've been researching spoken back to you, it like reaffirms
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah, and I think we were just yeah, these people just they know what they're doing. The trailers were hot dip galvanized. And also you guys were really serious about weight, which we didn't always find with everyone, as we said. So I think those are the things that really stuck out to us. We're like, these are really good quality trailers. Oh, we also loved the underfloor storage as well. That was something that was important to us. Um, and then I think when the second-hand one popped up in Fred's Facebook group,
Yeah.
um, someone who had started their build and couldn't finish it. So that was actually about 40 minutes away from us, as opposed to 12 hours down in Melbourne. So we were like, well, this basically seals the deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a crazy time because we had like just been kind of finishing up. Were our plans done then? So our plans were like finished up, they were finalized. The course was done. We were like getting ready. We were kind of stashing our money away, ready to buy our friend's trailer and like go down to Melbourne and pick one up. And then this guy named Nick posted in Fred's group, and we were like, oh, like this is the trailer we wanted, but it was a meter shorter. So it was an 8 meter flatbed versus a 9. And we were like, yeah, we were like, oh, like we really were pretty set on 9 meters, but like, could we make 8 work? We came to Lucy and we're like, do you reckon it could work? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And now we're like so glad that we went with an 8 meter trail. Like, so we're like, it is the perfect size. Like, it is so much space. And if we did 9, we would have been overweight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think Lucy said this is probably good because it was looking to get very heavy.
Yeah.
And it did mean we saved a lot of money getting secondhand. I think we ended up working with Lucy for a bit longer, which obviously cost us a bit more, but still in the long term we saved so much money.
Yeah.
And also just being able to from a sustainability point of view, reuse what someone already had close to us. Yeah, that was really good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so easy.
Yeah, that's great. And it's great that you were able to what they say, kill your darlings in a little way. You've got to kind of go with what's true, which is that there's this incredible offer of a secondhand tiny house trailer that is exactly what you wanted, except for the 1 meter. That takes the adaptability that you sort of have to generate, don't you? Where
Yeah.
you're building a tiny house is sort of like, oh, I thought it was going to go this way, and there's this other way that it could go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. There was a time when Fred was designing this house and it was all done and dusted, like you said, but like he wasn't getting somebody else to do it. He was doing it all himself quite laboriously through SketchUp. And he had this feature wall that he really loved, which was like a bay window on the western wall. So it went out and it created this really beautiful nook. And it was this sort of architectural feature. Loved it so much. And so he completed all the drawings and refined every detail, ran the weight calculations, and he was like, oh,
Oh no.
I'm overweight.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was like he was so ready to build. And then he was just like, back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And the bay window had to die, it had to not be a bay window because the framing was too complex and the just that extra 100 kilos or whatever it was going to be stuffed it up. And so, but yeah, it was that same moment of like, we're so ready to go. And then actually we're not. So, it's good just to be able to change track and go like, let's build at once properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Longer.
A blessing in disguise.
Yeah. You got to know ahead of time.
Yeah.
So what was it like picking up the trailer? Were you excited? Like, tell me about your feelings.
Yeah. It was I think for me, it was like very surreal spending that much money in a day. I don't think I've ever spent that much money in a day. So that was a little bit scary.
I'd compared the experience of picking it up to the experience of towing it post builds. Like it was like such a surreal feeling seeing because we took 2 cars, I was following Dad towing it, and I was like that's gonna be our house. Like that trailer is gonna be the foundation for our home. And then the day that we moved our finished house to this site, similar experience, and that's our house. We built that. So those 2 experiences for me were very similar in just emotion and just realization, whoa, this is big.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little bit I think it was a little bit stressful, just watching it go down the road. Obviously it's so long, and Harry's dad, he very kindly towed it for us. We got a bigger tow ball. And yeah, he's great at driving and towing, but even I was still like, oh, it's so big on the road.
Just bouncing around.
Yeah.
Watching nearby posts and fences. No way.
All the heads turning what is that? Yeah.
And then you can be like, yep, that's ours.
That's right. Yeah. And then parking it up on our nature strip, which is where it stayed for the entire build. That was pretty cool. I think the neighbors were all very confused for a long time. After we had got the frames up, they were like, oh, it makes sense now. But before that, they were all like, is it a stage? Is it what is it? And because it kind of snapped a little while. And yeah, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was pretty smooth. 40 minutes away, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So are you saying that you built the whole thing on the nature street?
A little bit when you put in the questions any interactions with council, I was like, you know what? We are so lucky that we managed to build the whole, well, not the whole house, because we finished it in our parking spot. We did about a year and maybe 4 months on the nature strip. Yeah.
That is so public.
Yeah, it was full show for everyone. We discovered we have a lot of walkers on our street.
Yeah.
And a lot of friendly neighbors, and we were I was this is my naivety speaking again. I was oh, there's gonna be no issues. No one's gonna care. We'll just be respectful. We're not gonna do power tools super early, blah blah blah. And I was the neighbors were all super nice, and it was true. Everyone loved it. It kind of became a hub for our street, because we had our close neighbors, but then we're talking with all these people that were further down the street, and all these people walking up and down. So it kind of became this really cool extra dimension to the street, where everyone would just walk past, have a chat for a bit, be like, what's that? What are you doing now? Yeah.
And the neighbors across the road had 3 little boys, and they would come and watch us build and come and play in the house. And it was really sweet. They just thought it was the best thing ever. Yeah.
And it actually is the best thing ever for a kid to see a house.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a
Child-
puppy-sized house in a lot of ways, so kids was like go like, "Oh, it fits me," you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were just very, I think, very blessed that council, I don't know if they saw it and they didn't do anything about it, but yeah, we didn't hear from them at all, which was a big, big blessing because it could have been bad for us, but
Yeah.
and
I think prior to moving it there, we might have given the heads up to our direct neighbors from memory.
yeah.
So like we were going down that mentality, 'cause we had a few consults with Fred before building and during building. And some of the things he often said was like, oh, just trying to keep neighbors in the loop of what you're doing and making sure they're on board before you just do something. I think that was a big part of it for us, like making sure that we're in communication with our neighbors. And they were all like, yeah, that's so cool. Like you guys are actually building yourselves a house. Like we're so happy for you. So that helped a lot, like
Mm.
having that dynamic, not just being like, oh, like these people like always on the tools, always making noise, causing a mess, big eyesore on the street. Like it was not that like narrative at all, which was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? People often want for you what you want for you. It's just nice to acknowledge that it might impact them and
Yeah.
would it be okay? And usually that goes quite a long way to
Yeah.
fostering goodwill.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that's great. How did you secure it though? Like I'd be worried about someone just saying, "Thanks, that looks really great."
Well, like the way it was parked is like to drive it in was awkward, and then there was like a power pole positions there and like a jacaranda there. So like if someone wanted to steal it, it would be like quite the achievement. Like it would be impressive if they could pull it off.
Mm.
We didn't actually wheel lock it at all. And in fact, the trailer that we bought, the little brake tab that you have that pulls the cables that lock the wheels, it wasn't on there when we bought the trailer. It was just missing. And we were like, oh well, it's pretty heavy. It's not going to go anywhere. Um, and then fast forward to like cladding on, crazy weather. Like we clocked like an 160k gust, and the entire house like pivoted a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we fixed the brake piece.
I remember there was one point in which you were like, there's this bit on our trailer that's missing. I don't know, like whatever happened to the previous owner, I guess. But
Yeah, we asked him to get one, I think, and then
yeah, and Fred was like that's sort of like part of the coupling. Like, why is that not there?
yeah, really odd that it was missing. But yeah, we ended up just getting a piece of steel made to shape and lock it in place, and it hasn't moved since.
Yeah.
Except for when you wanted it to.
Well, yeah, except when it was in the plan. Yeah.
So when you say it moved a bit with these winds, like what are you talking about? Did it just sort of roll forward on its
It didn't roll forward or back yet because the way the wind hit it, it just pivoted.
hit the long wall
Hit the
and
long wall.
just shifted it. The wheels were half the wheels were buried a little bit to get the trailer level, so that probably helped a bit with like the rolling. Flat grounds, but just the winds always comes from that direction, and it hit the long wall and just shifted the house a bit. We didn't notice till like later that morning. We're like, huh, it's not parallel to the fence anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
crazy.
Actually crazy. Yeah.
And then how did we get it? Did we?
I think because it wasn't that heavy then, so we were able to use Dad's car to shift it back into position.
Okay. Fascinating. It is just a big sale after all, when it's at particular stages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some really some big winds in the mountains in the last year or so, like really big winds
And rain.
and a lot of rain. So it's really stood the test of
Yeah, it's been nice kind of having that while building it, because like I know people are like that's kind of crazy, but like I liked that we've had like crazy amounts of rain, like 150 mils in a day, like big winds during the build, because it showed us that like it holds up and it hasn't leaked. I feel like it's so much nicer knowing that it doesn't leak when the walls aren't on before you put the walls on, because then you can actually fix those problems early. But we didn't have any of those problems, so it was really like it's a good test kind of early on.
Yeah, no, it's a little test all along the way, isn't it? So what did you do to manage that weather, like inclement weather? Did you just end up pulling huge tarps over the house whilst it was being built? Or?
It was quite frustrating early on because we like did the floor and then like it was a period of heaps of rain. So we were just tarping over the ply subfloor, which was sealed with so many coats of paint, but we were still so worried about it.
Mm.
So we just had like this huge tarp over it for ages, and it was tied up so it didn't blow away. And then the frames went up, and then the period between the frames and the roof going on, that was a quick turnaround. So the frames weren't out in the weather too long.
Mm.
But yeah, tarps for the floor, and then once the frame and the ceiling, I mean the roof was on, it was easier to manage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you're just harping the walls, aren't you? Not
We didn't even do
I
that.
only
We just ended up brace ply real fast and then sarking real fast. Like that, those stages were quite quick.
I think we almost did like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we did the brace ply and the sarking and the roof maybe all in like 4 or 5 days. We did it all really quickly.
Yeah, it might be right.
I think we did a weekend, and then I think you and your dad did like a Monday, Tuesday. You just get it like all done, so that I think we had a period of good weather, so that then we just were like done with the tarps, which was nice.
Yeah, and I had like a pretty good arrangement with work at that time where I was taking unpaid leave, but it was still like pre-arranged days off. So I was having like a lot of like pretty much every Monday I had off, which also dad had off. So we were able to get heaps of momentum like from the Friday all the way through the weekends, continue on the Monday and sometimes the Tuesday. So it was one of those good like weather window periods where we're like, okay, we could smash out heaps.
Yeah.
yeah, that's terrific. Yeah.
Mm.
Sounds like your dad's been a hero in this process.
Yeah, he was like, he's definitely the dad that just has all the tools. He knows how to do everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was like such a big help, especially at the start. Like, would be like, oh, we don't even know how to like, just the simplest things that now would be like, we could do that so easily. He'd come and show us.
Yeah.
We used like all his tools, so we really didn't have to buy many tools, which
Yeah.
was like obviously a huge financial blessing. And he also, I think he really enjoyed it as well. Like, he would come out and help us on the weekends, and
They absolutely
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was nice that we had that dynamic and that support from my family in particular and her family. But like, because it was parked at my parents' place, obviously it's a big commitment having this big white rectangle on your nature strip. But yeah, that support and like passion from dad especially was yeah, super helpful. And it was really helpful early on for that like really early learning where it was like you have like 1,000 micro decisions, like what screws do I get? What do I use for this? What do I do for this? And him just being like, oh, you just get those ones, or you just use that. And like, oh, I have a way quicker way for you to do this. Like all those early learnings are just like so well set us up and just saved us so much time.
Yeah. And his mum as well would like bring us snacks and stuff, which was really nice.
Yeah, the best setup
make us
ever.
lunch. Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was really nice. Yeah.
That's so great. It's a community barn raising experience, isn't it? Like,
Absolutely. Just not have done it without our community and like so many other friends and supports as well.
Yeah.
mm.
Mm.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear that you're well supported in that way. And also just being able to live, hopefully low rent or rent free for the period of time whilst you're having to make, chunks of outlay for materials and occasional trades and stuff. It's a big cost.
Yeah. When we were like jotting down notes before, I was saying like, I don't think we could have done it if we hadn't have been living at home, like in the time period that we did. Because yeah, like you said, we didn't pay rent. You know, come home, there's always food available. Like, we don't really need to worry about that. We can spend all weekend on the house and not really have to worry about anything. So I don't think we would have done it in such a short period, or maybe even at all, to be honest, if we hadn't have been like in the stage of life that we were and living at home. So yeah, a huge blessing for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really good for people just to really consider those practical things, because if you also have to cook for yourself, then there's chunks of daylight that are gone because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like, can you tell me about the cladding and material choices that you've made? Like the big decisions. I can see you've got aluminium framed windows and if you could just run through some of the technical specs, I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah, for sure. So decided pretty early on that we're going to go timber frame just because it was more comfortable for us. Like dad hadn't had much experience with steel, so that was a big part of it. Obviously still would have been lighter. We were like, timber is comfortable, easy to adjust as we go. So that was like kind of an early quick decision.
Can I
And
just
then
interrupt you too for a second? Often timber is lighter, like with the 70 by 35
yeah,
framing structures. We've seen lots of houses built, obviously, because we've made more than 250 trailers now, so we just see all the builds happen, and we get reports back on how they've gone. And similar sized trailers at similar spec houses will often be underweight with a timber framing and overweight with a steel framing. So
there you
whilst I haven't rolled an exact replica of two houses onto, at the framing stage to really see, um, I feel pretty convinced that the unified construction method with the light framing methods in timber is actually
there you
a
go.
couple 100 kilos less than
There you
steel.
Does that include the brace ply as well, or is that excluding?
Well, it would be good to consider the bracing ply because often steel framing provides their own bracing in the form of like triangular placed members of steel.
Yeah.
So if that's their way of bracing steel, that adds a lot of weight, in my opinion, to add a chunk of steel
To be able to
instead of a 4 mil ply sheet across a very broad area. I think that, theoretically speaking, that's where I land, is that the timber framing probably, like managing using the unified construction method. Obviously, you can make timber very heavy, and it is if you're following residential code, that will be too heavy. But you can modify it so that it's lighter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just where I land. I just sort of keep hearing feedback from people, and I go, "Look, the timber is lighter if you're doing it the way Fred suggests."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And like again, like always learning, right? Like
Yeah.
that was just the decision we made, and obviously things are always changing and adapting. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it is easier to DIY timber, like,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
make a mistake, you cut it up and fix it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and just more experience with that. So yeah, timber frame, Fred's trailer, subfloor was 19 mil ply. I think we didn't go down the hardwood route just because it was expensive, and we didn't want to make that decision early on about what our flooring was going to look like.
Yeah.
So if we had like had some reclaimed stuff around, we totally would have used it.
Yeah.
Um,
Then we did color bond for most of the exterior. That was, I think, just like that's just your classic Aussie exterior color bond. We chose white because
surf mist.
surf mist because we're in New South Wales and having black would have made it absolutely cook in here. We have a little bay window and we actually did shiplap cedar, which we then like charred with a
Torch.
like a big flame weeder torch,
Yeah,
which was that was a fun experience getting to do that. And so that's like a feature wall now.
Yeah.
What other big material choices did we
Yeah,
make?
and then like so yeah, the cladding was custom orb color bond, so the standard contour, and then the roof was it spandex?
Yes, spandex.
Spandex, which is like a trapezium shaped color bond, and that was for like height reasons. It was like slightly less high than custom orb. And then interior, all the walls are the company called RV Light Ply, which is just basically Falcala ply. So they weigh in at about 11 kilos a full sheet, at 9 mil thick. So yeah, about like a difference of 6 kilos per sheet versus standard ply. And then we painted those for the walls, and then the ceiling we left the natural finish, which is really nice because it's like that high grade of ply. So it just like with clear oil, it just absolutely like popped, which is super cool. So yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely the feature.
Yeah.
And then we did kind of toss up making our own cabinets, but I think it was some at the point we were at, again, that like toss up between time and money, we decided that we'd spend the money on a cabinet maker. So that's MDF.
Yeah, it's just like your standard cabinet materials, but we like removed the backs in them to save weight and did other little adjustments, like different materials. Bench top is laminate. We wanted hardwood, but weight and money.
Yeah.
Those are the main material choices.
Yeah, just a lot of plywood, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful result. You've installed it very expertly, so it makes it look really architectural and cool.
Thank you so much. We're pretty pleased with how it turned out. Obviously we see all the imperfections, but yeah, I think overall to the average eye, it looks pretty cool. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We also you can see these little, like, black channels.
True.
They're just, like, PVC
Yeah.
channels that we used, to, like, as a solution to, like, expansion gaps because we didn't feel like we were gonna be able to be accurate enough to do it without something in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, both sheets kind of slide in.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it just was like we were trying really hard to decide quickly on a solution for how we can make it look good. Knowing our own skill set, we were like, a shadow gap is going to be really hard to nail.
Yeah.
Hats off to the people, the DIYers who do, like Victor and Nina from Potteroo, like they nailed their shadow gaps. They're like so jealous, but we were just like, nah, we're not doing that. Especially with just how we've done the ceiling and stuff. So yeah, got this PVC extrusion, and yeah, it's like a H channel. Two sheets just come into it. They can expand and contract as much as they want. You're not worrying about paint cracking. We painted them black to contrast, and yeah, it's kind of a bit of a different look. But we're worried it was going to look like a fibro shack, but we think it doesn't. So that's
It doesn't.
yeah.
That's great. That looks really good.
Thank you.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the main things.
Yeah. Did you have any, like, setbacks as you were building?
I was thinking about one before. I'll try and think of a Lloyd talk.
I think for me, um, it was pretty mentally challenging, like, being in the throes of, like, my last year of university. Searching for a graduate role in, like, the industry that I was looking in was tough. And so, like, having all those things going on, and then on the weekends, like, not having online time, just, like, coming here and, like, getting straight into building, it was really tough for me. Like, I found it very mentally challenging. I also had, like, crazy decision fatigue. I was like, "I can't choose any more things for the house." Um, so they were the biggest things for me. Like, it wasn't so much the actual building, it was more just, like, everything else going on. Um, and yeah, just being busy, not having much rest. Um, yeah, they were the main things for me.
Yeah. And then I think for me it was just like a big resilience challenge. Like it was early on like a big like problem or like mistake that comes up would like completely throw me and like throw out a whole day. But as the build got on, you just get more resilient to those little mistakes and you realize like everything has a solution. You can fix things. And it doesn't have to ruin the whole day, which is really a really good thing to come out with. So yeah, later on it just got a bit easier. I think, yeah, the biggest challenge in terms of the build, I reckon, was weight. Weight was really tough.
Mm.
And that this was like a big chunk of our kind of struggles with the build was just like the constant, like little anxieties of every little thing of each stage we're at
Mm.
and how they affect you outside of the build. Like as any DIY builder would know, like the process of building a tiny house is completely consuming. Like you cannot say it's not because like if you haven't done it before, like you're constantly thinking about it, even if you're not actively on site working on it. Outside of it, you have a million thoughts about, oh, how should I do this? What's next? What do I need to order in order to keep up?
Mm.
Constant things. So like that, like endless, like anxiety of like, oh, what's next? Have I done this right? Have I researched it enough? I think that was pretty tough for us. And like it hasn't necessarily gone away. It's probably diminished quite a bit. But yeah, like that was really hard.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
yeah, and I think people to like go out and like tell people, oh, like build a tiny house, it's the best thing you could ever do. Like, yeah, it's great, but like it's also like extremely challenging.
Yeah.
Like, especially because we haven't had heaps of life experience, like we're quite young still. Like it was quite hard for us. So yeah, I'd say that was a big challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one of the biggest things was just keeping up with the admin, like keeping up with the ordering of materials and you know, like I guess we'd be building, the roof, but during the week we're thinking about ordering materials for, the walls. And so you're in two different mindsets of I'm still like building the roof, but now I need to start thinking about how I'm going to build the walls because we need to order things for the walls. So yeah, it was just a constant like keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that was a really good pro for us because obviously if you're doing this solo, you're handling all of that yourself and you can't share the load. But being able to share the load across the two of us, even if it was different at times, like if I was taking 60 and Alex was on 40 or vice versa at different stages in our life, like it was so nice to be able to like, okay, I don't really have the capacity to research the window flashings right now. Could you please look into that while I work on this?
Yeah.
Or just being like, I'm sick of looking at this. Can you please look at it for a bit? So I think that was really, really nice.
Yeah.
It was challenging still, but it made it a bit easier knowing that we were kind of doing it together. And as well as that, we also had like a lot of community who had also either been building a tiny house or built one, or people in the industry who are doing the trades that we're struggling with. That ability to be able to reach out to those people and be like, okay, this really sucks. And they're like, yeah, it does suck. We struggle with that just as much as you.
Yeah.
So yeah, like hats off to people like Victor and Nina from Potteroo, because I was nagging Victor all the time. Like they were probably like a year ahead of us in their build. So it was perfect for us because we could just like say, we're at this stage now. What am I doing?
Yeah.
And then Cocoon, Tiny, Christian and Shiny.
Yeah.
Same thing, like nagging them about different things, getting ideas off them, picking their brains. And then all the people in like the Fred's tiny house community as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So good to have people who've walked before you to
Yeah.
even just to give you empathy, to be
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, this is just a hard bit. Like,
Yeah.
just keep going.
Yeah. And hopefully like we can do that for someone else now that we're like
Yeah.
on the other side. But yeah, we're very very grateful for the people who put up with our questions.
Yeah, I often just wanted someone else that wasn't Alex to tell me that it's going to be okay. It's like, you can tell me that, and I agree, but I want to hear someone else tell me that it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a high stakes project, isn't it? Like you're putting everything into it and you're going to live in it and you've never done it before. So it's an incredibly demanding and stressful situation to learn on the job, on your own house, on your dime.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, you want to do it right, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think we got pretty lucky with a lot of things as well. Like just things kind of panned out, which is really, really cool. Things could have gone a lot more pear-shaped if they wanted to. So I think we had a pretty good run, like no huge setbacks yet. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was challenges in everything, but yeah, we got through them. To name a couple that was like stand out, really annoying. Color bond flashings, I hate them. They suck. We really struggled to understand what we needed and how we needed it to work. One of them we kind of messed up, but it's okay. And then bathrooms are stressful. Like anything involving water is just really frustrating and really hard to navigate. And it's like, yeah, we could have got some professional help in to do our bathroom, but it would have cost so much money. So that's one thing I still stress about now is the bathroom. We've been having a few issues with our leaky shower, like the screen just leaks. So yeah, those are like the two big kind of things. The flashings took a chunk of time off our build. But that was also early on, so it was like still that resilience building.
Yeah.
And yeah, those were two of the big ones.
And the bathroom is still plaguing us. Like Harry was in there siliconing this morning.
Yeah, we also have like a little heater drying the silicone so I can shower.
Yeah. The waterproofing aspect is stressful. You know, it's like, have I done it properly? How will I know? I will run water on it, you know, and then I can't really see if it goes
Behind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And if it goes wrong, it's very wrong. So it's very hard to fix. So, you know, it's almost worth stressing about it a bit because you're more likely to get a better result. But yeah, like maybe that's another time to get in professionals who've done it before. But then always holding in mind that they probably haven't built a vehicle before. So they're probably not going to give you completely vehicle friendly sort of solutions. So it's always about just getting more and more information, isn't it, from different people who've done it before?
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
that was a reassuring thing that Victor told me. He said to me, "It's like it seems like you guys are doing everything you can to like research well and be well prepared before you start something. So like that's a good indicator that you're probably going to be doing the right thing." Which was like I was like, "That's so true." Like we're not just like rushing into it and like, "Oh, we'll just slap a shower basin and the screen together and just like it'll all be sweet." It was like, "Okay, no, we gotta plan this out." So that was reassuring. It's like, okay, we're doing the best we can with what we had. So that's all you can really ask for, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, your methodology is sound, so it's
Mm.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there any time when you thought about stopping?
Oh,
Yeah, there was a few times, but I think they came a bit too late.
yeah.
It was like, yeah, we were past the point of return. Like it was lock up and it was like, we can stop now. Like it's killing us. We get to stop now. And we're like, no, we can't.
Yeah. I think like we always kind of like on a really hard day we'll be like, let's just sell it. Like someone will buy it. But it was always set in like a way of like tomorrow we're gonna wake up and keep working on it.
Yeah.
It was never really that serious. So yeah.
Yeah.
We managed to get there.
I mean, there were some pretty big lows, like to be real. But yeah, and like we were like we don't have like if it's gonna break us, like if it's gonna absolutely break us, we will stop. But it never got that bad.
Yeah.
It was hard, but it never got that bad.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so you're sort of using like a bit of black humor to be like, let's sell it, or like I can imagine people go, fuck it, burn it, whatever.
But like if a tree fell on it, it might be really good.
But then like sometimes what you really need is a laugh and a break. Like you might really just need a day off, because you're just pushing so hard on all the dimensions, like emotionally, mentally, and physically. So you kind of might did you ever just take a couple of days off just to
we
hand and catch up?
we definitely noticed when it was like getting to like an unproductive stage. Like it would often be at the kind of a tail end of like a really hard section. So for example, the cladding, like that was a lot, like working with colorblind was really difficult. So like I think we stopped just before finishing it and we're like, we're going away. Like went up the coast to see her grandparents for a few days and that was like really important. We ended up doing that a lot. Like that was quite a good lead in for us.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. We still made sure like we said no to a lot of like plans on the weekend, but we didn't really say no to any like opportunities to like go and see friends and family or like go away with friends. So like over summer we still like went away um with family to the coast. Also went down to the Snowy Mountains. So like we still made an effort to like have those like good like week-long breaks. And still live our lives to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's worth mentioning, like, the guilt of not working on it did not go away when we were away. And, like, I was still thinking about it constantly and still, like worrying about it. But that rest was really important.
Yeah, very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to be able to sustain yourself. And, if you're doing a uni course at the same time, that's a work job that you could always be doing more on as well.
Yeah.
And the mindset of like you never get rest because you always could be doing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really tough. It wears you out. So it's good to just be able to sustain yourself with those breaks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would often say, like, it's more productive for us to rest today. And then he would be like, no, I have to work on a tiny house. And then we'd end up resting and he'd be like, oh, I really needed this. Yeah.
Yeah. There's different parts of us. The pusher who's like, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about finding land. Like, what method did you use to do
Yeah.
that?
So we researched a bit about like different things. We were like, oh, like Park My Tiny House exists. We signed up for like a month to have a look at like her listings. And it was all right, but it was just like it was kind of a bit random. Like it was like
Well, in our area, it was random.
yeah, like it was just like not really what we were after. So we were like, what else can we do? We made sure that we got onto it like a good few months before we were going to finish, which was really good because it meant we could move it early and not be stressed about being overweight. But our main method was literally just make a little flyer and we joined all the Facebook community groups like in our area, which is the Blue Mountains. So we joined like all the different suburb groups, and we just posted our ad in all those groups. And it was a bit like scary because it's like, oh, this is a lot of attention,
Mm.
and we don't want attention. But it actually attracted really, really nice people. And we probably had about like 10 people reach out to us across our maybe like 8 posts. Um, like half of them were like, they didn't really know what they needed to have to be able to host us. And then the other half were like genuine, um, possible options. And then we visited a few of those sites, and we just kind of sat down with them and like had a cuppa and like talked about ourselves. And I think they could tell straight away like how genuine we were and how we were just like, yeah, like no nonsense, just literally looking for a place to live. Um, one of the things I said to like a couple was like, oh, like we're like in our 20s, but like if we could retire right now, we would.
Yeah, because they didn't want anyone, like, loud, and we were like, "No, we're not loud, we swear."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we had, like I think we had 2, like, really good options, and we could have done both, and I will say, like, it was really nice just to be I think in this day and age, you hear a lot of things about, like, how mean the world is, but to have, like, strangers just invite you over to have, like, a cup of tea with them and offer you a place to live is really nice just to, like, see the kindness of, strangers. So we had 2 really good options. Um, we ended up going with this spot just because I think just, like, the outlook, like, the other spot was looking onto, like, someone else's house, which we didn't love, but the spot we're in now, it just looks straight into the bush,
Yeah.
and it's on a really, like, private street. Um
And it was like kind of like, when you're building and you see the vision of like what the certain things you're gonna have when you're living in that
Mm.
space. And there were certain key moments that we like pictured, like our skylight in bed, stuff like that. We also pictured being like surrounded by bush and like immersed like in nature. And this site that we're on was all of that. Like there are
Mm.
trees all around. It is like bush that is in like amazing condition. It's all native, like heaps of birds around. Like it's all the sort of stuff that we gravitate towards. So
Yeah.
that was a really easy
Yeah.
decider.
And we just got along really well with, like, the family that lives here, and they were, like, happy like, when we came and visited, it was all still bush, but they were, like, happy to split the cost with us to, like, prep a pad for the tiny house to go on and, like, have just been super helpful in, like,
Yeah.
helping us out with what we need.
And they're like genuinely excited for us as well. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, their excitement has helped a lot. And it also helps that they were for the last year they had been thinking about doing something with this part of their land, and they had thought about like tiny house or cabin and all that sort of thing. So for us to come along and help them prep a site, if we were to move on, it would still be useful to them. So it kind of was a bit of like a win-win. They also get rent off us.
Mm.
And yeah, just like a similar sort of, yeah, like values and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and we're, like, in a spot on the property that's still quite separate, so, like, we still
Yeah,
we both have our privacy, which, yeah, works
it
really
is.
well.
Yeah, it's quite a good spot.
Yeah.
Like it is. We're closer to our neighbors than we are to our landlord, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That really does sound ideal. Like,
yeah,
do you have vehicle access all the way up to your house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. We'll, make sure some of the pictures show, like, the outlook, but, yeah, it's so nice, it's so peaceful.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I'm so glad you got what you were looking for. That's
Mhm.
Mm.
lovely. And it sounds like, yeah, you had really compatible things. Like you could offer the tiny house so they didn't have to buy one or build one themselves.
Yeah.
And they do get to use their property in the way that they had envisioned. So I can see how that's like a compatible set of things.
Yeah.
Which is really important for finding a piece of land. And they were also like had all the green flags of wanting to have a lease agreement,
Yeah.
and having all the like the follow stuff underway. So that if there are any issues, it's all in writing.
Yeah.
And we did use Pakwa Tiny House's template for a lease agreement.
Yeah, that was really
That was a really helpful structure for us because we hadn't really done anything like this before, having only ever lived at home.
Mm.
So that really set us up well, and they were like, "Yeah, perfect." And we just kind of added any extra terms, and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think, for me, it was surprising, like, I guess when we had been building, everyone had been saying to us, like, "Where are you gonna park it?" And we're like, "Oh, we don't know yet." And everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, like, you have nothing lined up, that's crazy." So it's actually really like surprising to me how many people reached out to us so quickly
Yeah.
and were like willing to make something work. So I think like, yeah, people who are still debating it, it's like a good, I think, positive message that there is like actually quite a lot of spots
And
out
like,
there.
and even if they don't have a spot for you, there's so many people out there who are excited by what you're doing. Like we had so many comments on our posts being like, we don't have anything for you, but like we're so excited for you. We really hope you find something. Like that is so cool. So we're like, oh, that's so sweet. Like thanks, whoever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's generating a whole bunch of goodwill that's thrown in your direction.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it's
Do you
really
mind
nice.
telling me about the rental arrangement? Like, can you give people like a range of like what to expect for um a rental of land in the Blue Mountains?
Yeah, so the Blue Mountains are kind of difficult because if there is land, it's often really slopey. So it's kind of this site that we're on a ridge line, but they've actually got like 5 acres. And I don't know how much we have, but we have a good chunk of it, quite separate. Um, we were hoping to be paying around like 150 a week, or like we thought that that was kind of the rate that people were paying for tiny house land, having not being receiving any services. We are plugged into their mains power, because we couldn't afford to go off grid with power straight away. So we're paying an included rent price of 240 a week,
Mm.
including our power, so we don't have any utility bills.
And including our like bins as well.
Yes, they ordered extra council bins for us, so we got all 3 bins.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we like reflecting on it, it's we understand the pricing because we're still quite close to Sydney. Like we're maybe an hour off from Sydney. We're in like a very secluded street,
Mm.
really nice arrangement.
Yeah.
And like like the landlords are lovely people. So it's like you kind of put the value in not just the location, but the arrangement.
Yeah. And we had looked at like we said, we were on Parkman Tiny House for like a month or two. And there are a few listings, not in the Blue Mountains, but down in the Hawkesbury, which is like similar distance into Sydney. And they were both the listings there were priced at 240, but that didn't no, 250, sorry. That didn't include power.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think that we ended up settling on a good like rent price and we're pretty happy.
Yeah.
It was definitely like a blessing to just be able to plug straight into their mains. Because yeah, that just saved a huge headache for sure. Yeah.
And a $20,000 outlay in solar capabilities, I suppose, if you're not using batteries and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of money straight up, especially towards the end of the build when we had a lot of trade invoices to pay. Because we got a lot of electrical, plumbing, and cabinet work done professionally. So those were a big chunk, and then also just like the moving costs of like towing the house to the site with recovery rescue transport, and then just getting the house set up to be able to live in it, like all the appliances and things that we need. But we're pretty savvy. We got a lot of stuff off marketplace, and yeah.
Yeah, and you're not having to manage when you're buying appliances for an off-grid system, you're managing their loads and how they draw.
Yeah.
And if you're just plugging into mains, then you can just buy conventional systems and conventional appliances, which, yeah, Harvey Norman pumps out a fridge much cheaper than your off-grid RV,
Yeah,
special
exactly.
things.
Yeah, and like we made some decisions with the design early on because we thought we were going to be off grid. Like for example, we have a gas stove, and we wanted to have an induction stove, but we were like, oh, if we're off grid, like induction's going to be quite be on the draw. So yeah, decisions like that were made earlier on, but yeah, I think there's always options to change stuff. Gas is also really handy for hot water.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, ideally we wouldn't be using any gas at all, but it's quite difficult to not.
Yeah.
We think.
Yeah, yeah, especially for your hot water system. In our tiny house that I'm sitting in now, like I'm pointing to the fire and it
Yeah.
heats the water
Yes,
if
we're
it's
saying
not
that.
sunny. And that's mission, that's the real
Yeah.
Yeah.
We remember watching that in the course. And I remember saying to Harry, I was like, imagine getting home late one night and you've got to light the fire to make your hot water. I was like, yeah, props to you guys. I couldn't do it.
It's hard. You end up working for the house in an off-grid house. Like you work for the system so that like, if you're doing like off-grid fossil fuel free, like we were, you end up, cutting wood and storing wood and, making the fire and, it's more like a homesteading. You have to be here. And so it didn't work for me as well because I like as it does for Fred, because Fred's happy to do all that work and to work with nature and he's happy to not work for the man. But I have soft skills and sort of soft muscles as well. So I was like, I'm better like earning money for the man and being valued for my soft skills and coming home and switching on a thermostat,
Yeah.
than I am at doing that. So yeah, it's like it's a good idea to like evaluate what you're realistically gonna do. Like at one point I was like, oh my God, am I gonna have to start making candles and making
Yeah.
I never did, but yeah, it felt like 100 years ago. So um tell me about the transport. Like what did it cost to get it just transported from A to B?
Yeah. Our distance was actually not far. It was 10 minutes away, which is crazy. I think we knew we were going to be pretty close, but we didn't know we were going to be that close to where it was originally parked. Um, how much was it?
It cost just under 2 grand for the towing. And then I think we paid about $300 to have it weighed. So we're on like a cul-de-sac street. So we got it towed to the bottom to the cul-de-sac. We had it weighed there and they hooked it back up and we then like parked it up. So probably around like
2 grand.
2 grand together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for us, like that was money really well spent. Like,
Yeah, we couldn't weigh it at the original parking spot because the nature strip was dirt, and the street was quite small. So yeah, it was a really cool arrangement with Jared from Recovery Rescue. Um, he was happy for us to weigh it on his time while he was towing it on the day, which is really nice. And yeah, that all lined up really seamlessly, which was really cool. And I think he learnt some stuff off the check weight guy because he's been towing a lot of tiny houses. But obviously there's always risks around it. So it was I think it was profitable for both of us. And it was just really cool seeing how he worked and did his job. Like our site, because it's quite bushy, we only cleared enough space for the driveway and the pad. So reversing it into this spot was really, really challenging.
yeah.
And there's a particular like part of the pad that we wanted it on, and we wanted the corner back into the back corner as much as we could. But when he was reversing it in, some trees restricted being able to get it that far, and we were like, his time was kind of finishing up for the day, and we were like not super happy with where it was because obviously once it's in, like we're not going to move it again until we get someone out to move it. So we were like, look, we kind of want it like over here if we can. And he was like, it's going to cost a little bit more. And we were like, we're happy to pay it. Like, we'll pay a little bit extra for like an hour or so of your time to get it exactly where we want it because it's really important. And then he ended up hooking up like a pulley and some straps to his tow ball and like dragged it a little bit more back into the corner and got it exactly what we wanted.
Yeah.
So he was exceptionally talented. And yeah, money well spent. Like,
Yeah.
could not recommend him enough if you're looking to tow your tiny house. Very reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just had his dad with him. And his dad and him like on the walkie-talkies and they're like, they nailed it. Yeah. And then we also spent like we were lucky to kind of like be talking to our landlord for quite a few months before we moved here. So we had time to like prep a pad and get a water tank delivered because that had to be brought in first, like just the layout of the site. So yeah, we had time to do that and like just get the site nice and ready before the house came onto the site, which was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like as he said, it's 10 minutes away from where we were, so it was super easy for us to just come here for the day, like spend the day doing stuff for the water tank and then go home. So yeah.
Yeah, and
It worked
finishing
out.
the house as well. Like
Yeah.
the bathroom was not finished, so we had to finish that off here, as well as a few other endless fiddly bits. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it actually finished now, or do you feel like it's never finished?
I think a builder's house is never finished, but like it's definitely quite finished. I
Yeah.
think there's a few little things like little cabinets like a little cabinet in the bathroom I want to do. And there's endless amounts of like
Painting
paint
touch-ups.
touch-ups and
Yeah.
paint on things that shouldn't have paint on them. But like I think I finally understand how like people just get comfortable with where they're living and just are like, yeah, I can deal with that. Like that's
Yeah.
fine. And I think as soon as we finished and it was like livable, we just stopped, like
Yeah.
brakes completely on. Like I have not had any motivation
Yeah.
to do anything.
Yeah.
Like we still need to do a splashback in the kitchen, and just like all those little things. But it's just like once you lose that momentum, it is just
Yeah.
yeah.
We also want to build a deck, and Harry's dad has very kindly put in like the what is it called?
They're like the little joist holders for the big posts.
Yeah. So he's done that for us. So that's basically ready to go. So when we're like ready, we'll just buy all the decking and we'll smash that out in a few weekends.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just like saving up a bit of money first. Yeah.
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 Good call. Yeah.
Yeah.
And will you be able to shade some of your windows? Because it'll be hot in the summer. You might need it for your summer months.
Yeah, we've kind of been like tossing and turning about whether we want to do an awning. The main reason we don't is because we love how much natural light this space gets. So we don't like the closed-in feeling an awning has. Obviously, there's clear corrugated stuff you can get as well. I think we probably will do a partial awning over our sliding door so that we have some sheltered area and some weather protection just coming in and out of the house. But we'll want to try and leave some of the deck clear so that we can enjoy some of the sun. We haven't obviously been here in summer yet, so we don't really know with the orientation we're at how it's going to feel. So yeah, I guess we'll kind of set up to be able to build an awning. Like the posts we've gotten are tall enough to be able to add an awning on, but we might not rush to do it straight away.
Yeah. Yeah. I think being here in winter, we've like really enjoyed all the sun that the house gets. So it's hard to be like, oh, we want to put an awning on. But you know what? Like, come one hot day in summer, we'll probably be like,
Got
put the
this.
awning on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard to know, but we'll definitely like prepare it so that it's possible to do it. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Sometimes it does just take being in our spot and knowing where the sun comes in and what really bothers you to know how to fix it efficiently and not over fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm.
But yeah, very keen for a deck. This site definitely demands one.
Yeah.
It's a small pad, and our little landing out the front of our door is quite small without a deck. So yeah, it'll be a really nice addition. And we'll use the deck mounts on the drawbar of the trailer to wrap it around to the side because we have a back door at the back there, which will be in and out of the bathroom. So it'll be a nice little extra entryway in other than the second door.
Yeah.
Good idea. Nice.
Yeah.
Have you guys sought out insurance? Like, have you sought insurance or looked into it at all?
I think I've looked into it a little bit. Like I've spoken to Nina about it because I know Victor and Nina were insured. I don't remember by who.
Yui.
Um, I looked into it a little more when we were still on the nature strip, and it just wasn't going to be possible with it being on a nature strip. But now that we're here, like it's definitely top of our minds to get onto it. Be curious to see how it goes, to be honest. We're definitely in like the bell rating's definitely flame zone for where we are. So that's going to be, I think, with it being a tiny house and being in a flame zone, I think it's
And
going to be
yeah, it's not built to a bell standard at
no,
all.
I think it's going to be quite difficult, but like we'll just see how we go. And if we can't do it, then I don't know, we'll start saving up to self-insure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, having made it within the caravan standard dimensions and getting it in under 4.5 ton, you're eligible for the latest time I looked into it, CIL offered an actual tiny house product, but it had to meet all of the dimensions. And so anything over dimensioned, over height or over width or anything, or overweight, didn't qualify. So they were the main sort of decision branches that I heard them talking about when they were talking about what tiny houses were eligible for insurance. But yeah, I reckon that it's a good idea for people to call insurance companies and find out what they are insuring, like what they offer their products for, so that they've got, if insurance is important to you,
Yeah.
build to that. It'd be annoying to build and find out that there's no insurance product.
Yeah. And I think even just like over like I guess the 2-3 years that we've been like really into tiny houses, like so much has changed as well. Like I'm always seeing new things on Facebook groups about like insurance. It just always seems to be changing. which I guess is why we didn't necessarily at the start, it wasn't something we were like super worried about because we're like, well, it's always changing. Um, so yeah, I'd be interested to see like what people come back to us with when we like get around to it, which will be soon. But
Yeah, I think the main bottleneck for us at the moment is just the cost of it. Like, I mean, we haven't got many quotes, if any. But yeah, just hearing about like how much people are paying for it, we're like, oh, that's like a deck.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But
So
I mean, in the long run, it could be, the best money you ever spends.
exactly. Yeah, you can't really put a price on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you mind telling me how much you did spend on your tiny house?
Yeah, so we were tallying pretty accurately up until the ends. I think we stopped a little bit before, but it came in at around 105,000, which was kind of expected. We were like, oh, we'd like to do it for 80. But yeah, just like trades really added up. Like I think our trades were at least a quarter of our costs.
Yeah.
So we spent like 25 grand across our cabinet maker, electrician and plumber. Um,
Or at least maybe even 30. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even yeah, oh, true, it might have been 30.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, a big chunk of it was trades.
Mm.
And yeah, things just kind of added up. We were tried to be really, really savvy. We did a lot of ordering through like friends' trade accounts at different companies.
Yeah.
We did use mostly all new materials just because like we would have loved to have used a number of reclaimed materials, but that like takes time of accumulating. And I feel like that makes a lot of sense if you have time and if you've lived a bit of life and you've got a bit of stuff that you can use. But in our situation, we were like, we want to build this pretty quickly and we want to live in it really quickly. Just buying new materials made sense for us. And we like the sustainability side of being able to use reclaimed stuff as well. But yeah, again, it just wasn't really workable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a little over what we anticipated, but now that we're like seeing what builders are selling their new tiny houses for, like, 200 plus, it's insane now. You couldn't buy a tiny house for 100K anymore.
Yeah.
So
And like a lot of them are void of a lot of things that you need in the house as well. So like they'll sell it and it's like, oh, it's missing a lot of things that I still need to buy. So
I reckon it's a beautiful house and 100 grand, yeah, like it's totally worth it in my opinion because if you've got the money, I mean, it's no point saying 100 grand is worth it if you've only got 20, but
yeah.
but I think you've done a really excellent job because prices just hiked during COVID and trades
Yeah.
hiked and it didn't go down. Like there'd be one or two fluctuations where it actually went a particular building material went down and everything pretty much just stayed high. So
Yeah.
like even just our bay window of cedar, which I don't even know, it was like 70 linear meters or something like that. It was like $2,700 of cedar shiplap. Like
Yeah,
it
so
was
expensive.
it was a lot of money. So it's
Yeah.
like just little splurges like that add up. Like our skylight, we got that fitted as well, and that was like a grand as well. So like there's certain things that I think that when you're building and designing a tiny house, you know what's important to you and you know what you want to prioritize. And if you can afford to do some little splurges where you want them, then like you absolutely should because you're gonna be living in it and it's so important. Like I think, yeah, we love our bay window. The skylight is an absolute dream. Our big bifold window in the kitchen was like a need. So yeah, like it's you just put value in those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's good to hear. What's it like living in it?
It's dream. Yeah.
Mm.
It's been hard to slow down. But we're definitely settling now.
Mm.
Yeah, everything is just like as expected because like it's kind of weird because you spend so much time designing and then building and you kind of expect how things are going to work and how different spaces are going to feel. And then once you're in it, it's like, oh, this is kind of as I expected it to be.
Mm.
Obviously, it's like a lot more incredible, but like it's like, oh, like this functions how I planned for it to function.
Yeah.
And this space is used how this space is meant to be used. Like right now, this is on our bay window desk, which is our like study space. It's like this has its purpose. Our living space feels nice. Like everything kind of just works as intended.
I think the biggest thing for me is just like having always lived in a conventional house, like getting used to being really aware of like well, we had to clean out the grease trap the other day. It was gross. So just being aware of like what you're putting down the sink and like having a composting toilet. Like none of it, I don't really find any of that uncomfortable, but it's just a new level of like awareness for how you're living and just like, dealing with all your waste, all your grey water, things like that has been like a bit of an adjustment. I think though, like it's quite good to learn how to be responsible for those like aspects of your life and like, not just be chucking like hot oil down the sink and
Yeah,
things like
absolutely.
that. Um,
It's like if I do this, I'm gonna have to deal.
yeah, I have to do it later. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's just been like an adjustment, but it hasn't necessarily been a bad thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. So it's like that proximity of being closer to the functions of your house is
Yeah,
Yeah,
just the
exactly.
sensitivity to how you use it and what the impact that you're having on the environment. So it sounds like it's sort of like you go into tiny houses with a sense of, well, lots of people go into a tiny house with a sense of caring for nature and wanting to do something that's environmentally sustainable and low impact. And then you do more of that because it
Yeah.
supports
Yeah.
it supports a way of living that is, like, sensitive to your impact.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like a forced thing in a way, but it's yeah. If you're getting into tiny houses, you kind of know what you're in for. You're like, I'm gonna have to deal with my compost or whatever I have for my toileting system. I'm gonna have to deal with this. And I think it's really special, and it's kind of like a bit of a blessing that we are able to take responsibility for that and actually be like, yeah, like
Yeah.
we can do something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Mm.
definitely like I think for me, it was always a big deal, like living environmentally sustainably. Like that's one of the main drivers for me. And like I could go on about it for like days now about like, look at all this fresh water we're wasting flushing the toilet. Like, and like we shouldn't just be chucking stuff down the sink drain. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's been nice to be able to like, yeah, keep that going now that the house is done and like still be, making sure what our waste is, that we're dealing with that in a sustainable way. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. What toilet are you using, by the way?
It's a Alectura from EcoFlow.
Eco-Flow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's got the big chamber under the trailer. It's been really good. We haven't actually like had it long enough or been using it long enough to swap the chamber over yet. I think we're about to. But yeah, it's been so good. It's like one of the things that you always hear in all of Bryce's videos. They're like, "Oh, I was worried about the composting toilet, but it's like so good. It's so easy." And it actually is true. Like it's if you set it up properly and you get your vents in and you use and like set it up as they tell you to, there is no smell. There is less smell in a composting toilet in the house than there is in like a
Mm.
flushing toilet, which blows my mind. Like
Yeah.
it's so cool.
We all like when people come over, he's always like, "Come smell the bathroom." Like you might smell anything in here. Yeah.
It's so good. I'm like, please use it, please. Like,
Yeah.
so it's been great so far. Obviously, we haven't swapped it over yet, so we don't know how our compost is going to turn out. So I've heard that's a bit of a learning for people. They're like, oh, like the first batch is usually a bit dodgy, but yeah, I think it's been a really cool toilet.
Yeah.
No issues.
Yeah. Originally when we first designed the house, I really wanted the incinerating toilet. And we were actually going to get it. And then I think we started doing our budget. We were like, we cannot afford like an $8,000 toilet.
Yeah,
But
they're expensive.
yeah, I've ended up being like really fine with the composting toilet. Like it doesn't phase me at all. So yeah, I think we made the right
It's
choice there.
primo. It's so premium. Like
He
it's
loves it.
I mean, it's such a great product, and they're doing like they're still expensive. I think it's like if you buy the bundle, it's like 3 grand. We actually had the most random like freebie from a friend. They like had a tiny house built. I think it was by LJM, and then they had the same toilet as us, and it was leaking from the actual pedestal. And then they came and just replaced the entire toilet, but they still had the pedestal. So we actually have a second-hand pedestal, which is crazy to some people, but it's totally fine. So we got the pedestal secondhand, and then we talked to EcoFlow, and they were able to send us out the rest of the kit at a discounted price, which was really cool. So we saved a bit of money. not
Nice.
pay for the pedestal. And yeah, EcoFlow have been really great. They give you everything in the kit. Like it is a really well thought out kit. And it's so easy to set up. Like anyone can install one of them. Like
Yeah.
it's so simple if you follow it properly.
It took us like a few hours one afternoon to do the whole thing, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Um,
Great.
right.
And I have a question about the urine diversion. Like, is it going? Is it going into a tank, or is it plumbed into a channel in the ground, or like what's happening for the urine?
Yeah, so the way that the Alictura works is it has like a little it's kind of like a self-watering pot in a way. Like it has the chamber and then it has like little feet in it and a little tray in the bottom. So any excess fluid that isn't part of the composting process goes into that tray and then it goes out like a leachette drain. And in their installation manual, they recommend either, putting that into like a septic or whatever, or hooking it into like
Just a huge
a big
absorption.
big absorption trench, which is what we did. Likewise, we did that with our grey water. Grey water took us a little bit to set up initially. So, but when we did similar thing, we have a big slotted ag pipe going into a trench with gravel.
Oh,
Gravel.
well, we have it going through a reed bed first, and then we have it going into a like we just had one of his friends actually helped us just dig this like huge trench outside, and so yeah, we just have some ag pipe and gravel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we think it's working. It's hard to kind of know without like digging it all up and actually looking at it. But it's all been flowing and I think it's going well.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
So great. I'm glad to hear all that. Yeah. Have you had any visitors come and stay?
Not stay overnight, but some people visited for like coffee and a couple of meals. And they all are pretty amazed by it. They all think it's pretty premium.
Yeah. Some people are still like, some people will still be like, I use the bathroom at home first, so I don't use your toilet.
It's like, wow.
It's just that like the mental, like I think it's really jarring when you first hear about it.
Yeah.
So there's been a bit of that, but apart from that, like, yeah, it's been nice to have people over. Like we find it to be a good sized space. I think once we have our deck and it's warmed up a bit, that'll be really nice.
And daylight savings.
Yeah, daylight savings. But yeah, it's been really good so far. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Have you got any advice for people who are about to embark on the journey in that serious way, like getting serious? What would you say to them?
I wish I had time to prep for this this question in particular.
I think my biggest like takeaway would be like rest when you need it, and like rest is really productive as well. I think that was something we kind of struggled with, like as we mentioned before. So I think that was probably the biggest like thing for me.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's really important. I think using networks is really important, and not just like your immediate networks, but like actually asking out there for other help. Oh yeah, like it's easy for me because I feel like I can just go up and talk to anyone, which is a great skill, but obviously not everyone can do that. But even using like online forums and like just asking for help, like Fred's community group is really, really good place. Even if you're not posting, you can search through posts and look at questions that you want to ask but have already been asked before. So actively using those forums is really important. And then like those people who have already done that kind of road ahead of you probably will want to help you. Like even now for us, like I love seeing like a little help post of like someone asking a question because I'm like, oh, I feel like I've got something I can add to that. And people love to share information, especially in this community. Like it's not a very gatekeeping community. Like generally the people who are in this community are doing it because they want to do it for really good reasons. So yeah, asking for help, reaching out to people, and using those networks is really, really important. Breaks are really important.
I think the one thing we always said, like throughout the whole build, was everything has a solution.
Yeah,
a lot.
so true.
And I think that's like a huge thing, like just a positive, like, you know, you could be having the worst day and something's gone really wrong, but it does have a solution, even if you don't fix it like today.
Yeah.
There's a way to fix it. And there's always someone out there who like has an answer to your problems.
Yeah, like a mistake is only a problem you can't fix. Yeah. and you can
Hmm.
pretty much fix everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it
Hmm.
really sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So it's across all things, isn't it? It's like rest and regenerate and ask for help and receive the help,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
if you're really wanting to do it, like absolutely do it, but don't go into it thinking it's not going to be hard, because it's going to be really hard. I think our like age and the time that we started really helped us because we were a bit naive. And we're just like, yeah, we can do this. Like, let's just get into it. We didn't rush into it. We're still a little research, but like I think just like the reality of life hadn't fully set in yet. So yeah, like no, it's going to be hard, but like it is possible. And there's so many stories out there you can refer to that will be similar to your own story, and yeah, the support's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, thank you so much, Harrison and Alex, for sharing all that with us. You've given us such a comprehensive overview of like what it's been like to
Yeah.
build.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's been so special to talk about it. I think when you're going through the process, you're internalizing all these things, but you don't even have time to talk about them.
Yeah.
So being able to have like the walkthrough of it all has
Yeah.
been just as special for us.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us on it. Yeah. Thank you guys for the resources you provide.
Yeah.
As we've said, they've been super helpful, and we're very glad our house is on a Fred's trailer. So
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad for it too. That's great. And congratulations. It's an incredible thing to do, and I'm just going to guess that your age is like under 25, roughly, like around there. Is that pretty much right?
23 and 22.
Yeah.
And that is an astonishing and awesome life achievement to have done. So thank you so much for sharing it with us, and congratulations. It's spectacular. Really.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for
Angela.
having us. It's been really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're interested in building or buying a tiny house on wheels, I highly recommend taking our online course, which is called How to Build a Tiny House, the Australian online course, and you can find it at tinyhouseuniversity.com.au. Hundreds of people have used it to build a successful tiny house on wheels, and you can too. We also offer weekend workshops throughout the year where you get to sit for a whole weekend in a classroom environment and thrash out the problems of tiny house building. You'll be taught all of the basics, plus a whole bunch of new material about vapor permeable membranes and everything that we've learnt from passive house experiences for tiny house living to get the best thermal performance and humidity management in your tiny house. And you'll also get the benefit of hearing other people ask their questions and all of the discussion that really helps people thrash out their thoughts about their tiny house building project. With the weekend workshop, you also get the online course for free. So that's a really awesome set of ongoing notes that you can use throughout the period of time that you're building your house. So pop over to fredstinyhouses.com.au/education to find out more about those education offerings. You can follow Fred's Tiny Houses on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Pinterest. You can also reach out to us and just write to info@fredstinyhouses.com.au, and that email comes to me and I'll write back. If you're ready to buy a Fred's Tiny House trailer, then pop over to our website, fredstinyhouses.com.au/shop, and peruse through our wide range of tiny house trailers. We only build tiny house trailers. We don't build any type of other trailer. We specifically design all of our trailers with your house in mind. So everything that you need to think about for a tiny house build is considered inside a tiny house trailer design from Fred's Tiny Houses. So check that out at fredstinyhouses.com.au/shop. Please share these episodes with people that you know and love who are interested in tiny house builds. The more people who know about it, the better. Give us a positive review on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube and on Google and on Facebook and all the places. We love 5-star reviews. You'll see heaps of people have already done it, and we're really welcoming more because we want more and more people to build successful tiny house builds across Australia. Thanks heaps. Stick around next week where you'll hear from Lars, who's built himself a beautiful tiny house on wheels, and he was an architecture student when he started, and he's used the tiny house build for hands-on experience in the building trade to great effect. So stick around for Lars' next episode of Candid Tiny House, Season 3. If you've been listening to the podcast and you'd also like to see the tiny houses that we're talking about, you can actually watch the interviews on YouTube, where we get to see all of the pictures of their tiny house, the outcome, as well as the build. And it really helps to illustrate the conversation that we're having. So feel free to pop over to YouTube and you can subscribe by looking up Brett's Tiny Houses and checking out the playlist of Candid Tiny House.